Welcome back, guys. GhettoRig episode what? 228.
Yep.
Okay. We're back. Again, there are some things going on in the background that we weren't able to come in. Sorry about that, guys, but it was important for us not to be on a live. But we're back now. All things are falling back into place slowly, which
Felt weird.
it felt weird. It felt weird. Yeah. Let's just say that down and leave it at that. Anyway, my name is Jay. To my right, I have my co-host Eddie. Behind the camera, Migi, the man with the plan. We do have some badass guests planned for you guys. Now that we're going back to more regular streaming of our Tuesday and Thursday schedule, we're bringing some really cool guests. So stay tuned for that. We'll then announce it once it gets all hammered out and we get all the details in place. But to quick note about our sponsors, UFC Gym Largo in St. Petersburg, also Vitality 1 and 2. Go check them out, guys. The classes are getting big. Today we're probably 30 people deep on a mat, so definitely come out, check out the jiu-jitsu classes. It's getting more competitive, meaning that more people are starting to train for competitions, so levels are climbing very quickly. So it's gonna be super cool if it's something that you're interested in, right? So anyway, but without further ado, let's just dive in. I'm sure you already saw the topic of the day. It is Trump's trade war. But before anything, guys, did you see that guy that got arrested in Orlando?
The one that jumped in the I think the lake with a crocodile or
No, I haven't heard about this one. Go ahead, Miggy.
Oh.
I haven't heard about this one.
There was a guy that he was running away from the cops, and he said, "I'll knock this motherfucker out. I'd rather do that. I'd rather fight this gator and be in the water with him than go back to jail." And the cops were just like, "Bro, get out of the water. What are you doing?" And the crowd came up to him and he slapped the fuck out the gator.
He did?
Yeah, I'll look up the video.
Okay. But there was a dude that was in one of the Disney parks, I think. And did you hear about this? No.
No, I'm thinking like this gator sounds like one of those fake gangster who tries to get people to check in. Hey man, what you doing around this block? You slap him once, and fuck, and you let him walk away. What'd you say, Jay? I'm sorry, I was picturing that.
No. So did you hear about this man that got arrested in one of the theme parks in Orlando?
No, what, Disney or
one of them. Apparently,
those?
Homeboy was trying to sneak in a little bag with the white powder in it. So they got him.
Oh, yes, I seen that.
And it's like, bro, really, like you need to get hyped up in a park, like.
You know what I just thought about too? This guy's been fucked in the butt in prison. Why else would he jump in there with a gator instead of going to prison?
You guys have audio on?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do too now. Go ahead, play it.
Not go to jail, but I
hell
don't
no.
believe in a bar. He's gonna lie to me twice. I'm
Ain't no
like,
small
"Please,
gator.
What is this? A saltwater gator?
Come on. You want to see what I did the last one?
Yeah, they'll go.
Crocodiles.
It could be a.
Last one,
the
the
way
big
that
spot,
nose
I'm gonna
looks,
turn
it kind of
upside down, but gutty.
croc, but
Come on, Sunshine.
yeah, gators will go in like brackish
I
water.
didn't do anything. Can I
saltwater.
please? And then do what? Go to jail twice?
Exactly. Go to jail twice. He been there
What
before.
Dude, I don't want to go to jail. I didn't do anything. I didn't hurt anyone. I didn't do anything. No. You're not trying to figure out anything. You're doing more than your f***ing job. And you don't know. I'll beat that his ass, hold him upside down, and stick my finger in his ass and make him drown. Get out of that water!
No way.
This ain't my first rodeo. Yo, I hear you, bro.
This ain't my first rodeo.
Big John McCarthy, our referee.
That's funny. So, can you pull up that thing I just throw in the Discord? Since we're talking about the pew pew earlier today, I threw in that into Discord. Yeah, that thing right there.
I'm not gonna show this on YouTube. They're sensitive on videos, but on reels they don't care.
Okay.
Do I need sound for this?
I don't know.
Semi-auto and fully auto, Right. Settings are really basic. There's only 3 settings per side, right? You got shotgun, semi-auto, and fully auto, min, medium, and maximum. I think all we got to do is hit the trigger.
What is this?
This is the craziest new thing now.
It throws discs. It's like clips.
Yeah,
almost.
it throws discs, like metal discs.
Oh my god. This is the most fun you can have with clothes on. This is awesome. Fire.
This is the most fun you can have with clothes on, he said. That shit look like it'd fuck you up though.
Yeah, it's
All right.
it's like an electromagnetic weapon. That
What is an
throws these
AFA
discs.
tactical? Can you look that up?
Yeah, coil gun. There we go. That's what it is.
AFA, I think it was. AFA. Because he said it was the alternative to an AFA tactical. Whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's an air gun.
So go back to that other one, cause yeah, there you go. So yeah, click that third picture. Yeah, there you go, right there. So he shoots these like discs.
Oh shit, and they're metal.
Yeah, and then if you go back to the other one where he kind of like shows you what.
Shoots your watch's batteries, bro.
Yeah, go to the other one where he shows like the coils and stuff like that. How it's like designed. See that picture? Second one down to the left.
Fuck, I showed it on stream.
No, down. But right there, that picture you were just hovering over.
one?
Nope.
The one that shows the
Yep.
insides, yeah, that one.
So I'm guessing these are the coils.
So it
and stuff?
uses magnets, I'm assuming, to just accelerate the
Yeah, just
the
probably
metal
something like
discs
that. Yeah,
through
to
the
propel
barrel.
these discs. Yeah. Is this like the new? Is this the new warfare?
No, it's not.
I don't think it moves fast enough.
It's not reliable enough. It doesn't
Probably
shoot
not
through
accurate.
anything.
Yeah, it's probably not accurate enough.
It won't penetrate through armor.
I think
Like
if
regular Kevlar,
anything,
like Kevlar, it's
I don't think you have the range on this. Number one, you probably won't have the range on this.
you have a lot of deviation based on wind.
Yeah, it's not as
You don't
smooth
have
as a
range.
projectile.
Well,
So
I
I'm
don't-
sure it doesn't travel.
I
through the
don't
air as
know
well.
just because like I haven't done any research on it. I just saw it and I thought it's kind of cool.
I've heard about something like this, but I didn't see it in action yet. It looks like some shit out of Black Ops 3, though.
Yes, it does look like a toy. You know what I mean?
The hell is this?
This is what.
This should look like some shit out of Star Wars. What
Yeah,
the
it
fuck?
looks like those droids. But
What?
This is what China is using for security robots.
What? So if somebody just fucks around, you just chase them down with that?
Yep, instead of dogs.
What? But this thing's got to be heavy as fuck. This shit could probably kill somebody.
Yep, that's the point. Dude.
Oh, okay.
This is also China. You know what I mean? They got so many of those motherfuckers with
They're
a
just-
20%.
instantly like, oh, you running? We're gonna break your leg with this thing.
Yeah, the 20% unemployment. They don't give a shit. It's like, you just one less person.
The hell?
I wonder what the capabilities of this thing are. Let me see.
Weighs
The
125
robot can
kilograms,
run-
which is 250 pounds.
The robot
That's what I'm
can run
saying.
as
Break your
fast
fucking
as-
leg if it runs you over.
35 kilometers per hour, so that's like 20,
that'll kill
20
you.
miles per hour.
That'll kill you if it hits you. 250 pounds of metal running you over at fucking 30 miles an hour. That shit'll kill you.
$41,000 per each. Which,
See, I'm not about using dogs, but damn, that's fucked
but which
up.
trained dogs probably cost you that much anyway.
No, I'm not about using dogs just because, like, you know, for example, what ends up happening with a lot of these dogs is the way that they mentally prepare them, they have to kind of be that way almost for the rest of their lives. If that's to start getting really depressed and stuff like that and stress and all this shit. Like, when dogs in airports and shit like that, even when they don't find anything, I think they have to, like, make the dog think they did, or else it'll be, like, super depressed. You know what I mean? Like, it's because it failed its job kind of thing. Yeah, the dog thing is kind of fucked up. But this is even more fucked up, if you ask me. You just running people over with BB-8 from Star Wars. The fuck?
Oh, shit.
I don't know what the fuck these do yet. But I'm guessing they have a bunch of cameras inside of them.
I mean, it
Sensors.
better.
I mean, they make Tesla cars drive on their own. I'm sure they can make this one drive at 22 miles per hour on his own. Oh, there we go. Play the video.
Hey folks, today I've got some super explosive outclassed by the US. Number 4, intelligence. The American movies like the Alien Mechanical.
I want to see this shit hit him, hit him, motherfucker.
Wake up.
It did.
That's just a
Go
movie
back,
report.
Miggy. Go
Real
back a little bit. It did hit
No, I
somebody.
didn't really
Bottom
show
line
it though. Like it just showed like a
Even more
brief
apps and
moment of
digital applications on
it
the
touching
RPG
someone,
online.
kind of.
The scenes are just unbearable. Someone suggested replace it with bulletproof materials, strengthen its collision force, and use it directly as a tank to crush. Bro, do you think this is Transformers? Is modification that simple? Another one said, install C4 explosives, turn it into a suicide truck, rush it into enemy's camp, and set off fireworks.
I feel like the little Tesla dog or whatever would be better. The dog that Boston
Do
Technologies
you
created.
think this is a movie?
Look, just
Real warfare doesn't work like that. Even more outrageous.
yeah, bro.
there's a
This is
link
heavy as shit. This is Trump somebody
Yeah,
over.
I don't think you use this
Look at
for
the US.
civilian use.
They're
You know what I
using
mean? Like
this
you don't
technology
use this
for
against
Mars
civilians.
exploration. Then look at China. What are they thinking about? Ultimately,
I don't know.
technological development is meant.
It's mainly more for surveillance, I think.
I'd start questioning where I live if I'm getting chased down by a fucking droid.
Anyway, so yeah, so that's the situation. But yeah, so let's talk about the tariffs. Let's see what we got here.
I want to know why it's costing me $300 to ship something from China, bro. Well, they usually have fucking free shipping if you're spending a couple $100. I'm trying to buy a $700 item and they're still charging me $300 for shipping.
Yeah, yeah. The tariffs is a big thing. Now, I do not agree with tariffs that could possibly could crash United States economy. So first, to understand tariffs, it's not more like a tit for tat type of deal, right? Like it's not like, well, I'm gonna put tariffs on chicken that's going from here to there, and then they're gonna put same tariffs for the same chicken that's coming here, right? It doesn't work that way. So the way they do these negotiations is like, okay, well, if I'm putting X amount of tariffs on these goods that are coming to my country,
It's all value based, is what you're trying to
yeah.
get at?
So if I'm putting the X amount of goods that come into to my country, you can put this percentage of tariffs on these other type of goods that are coming to your country. So for example, our equipment and stuff like that goes to China and things like that, it's only like 10-15% tariffs, right? Like the John Deeres and things like that. But shit that's coming in from China, we'll put a larger tariff on it. And it does make sense, right? Because the value of the item, let's say you're buying a $200,000 tractor at 15% tariff, then you're looking at what, $30,000 just on tariffs, just for one piece of equipment, versus like a shirt that comes in at $5 and they're putting like pennies on it, right?
I'm sure we don't export much of that shit, regardless. And just,
What, John Deere's and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, John Deere's and Cats, like those are the biggest.
I'm sure there's just such cheaper alternatives overseas.
Europe has them. The only thing is, United States has such strict laws that you cannot import anything from Europe over here. Basically, it has to pass our safety. So you cannot bring, like, let's say, trucks that can tow other trucks, for example. You cannot, like, they're bobcats and things like that. As a matter of fact, people will ship these things from here to other countries because everyone accepts our equipment as good, but we don't accept everyone else's equipment as good, right? So so you kind of have to look at this like, yes, there are things that we're getting screwed on, but there are things that we're winning off of,
Can
right?
I read like about 5 paragraphs of this?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this article says, a White House executive order Monday slashed the de minimis tariff on China's shipments to 54% from 120%, with a $100 flat fee starting May 14th. It served as the latest in a broad thawing of trade war tensions between the U.S. and China, after the two powers paused most tariffs for 90 days and sent markets into euphoria. Both nations pledged to cut their broad, ballooning tariffs after weekend talks. U.S. tariffs dropped to 30% from 145%, while China's moved to 10% from 125%, per a joint statement. The consensus from both delegations this weekend is neither side wants a decoupling. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said on Monday, and what had occurred with these very high tariffs was the equivalent of an embargo, and neither side wants that. We do want trade. The U.S. said the tariff reductions would be in effect for 90 days while the talks proceed. President Trump said Monday that he plans to speak with Chinese President Xi Jinping soon.
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping, maybe at the end of the week. U.S. equity markets shared the news on Mondays on renewed Buy America momentum. However, stocks were muted on Tuesday, even as the April Consumer Price Index report showed consumer prices rose at the slowest pace since early 2021, while Trump's tariffs were in effect. All right, that's all I want to read.
So yes, that is true. And the thing was, like, Trump came out and he said that China is in trouble, right? And everybody kind of dismissed it by saying, "Oh, it's just another one of those Trump's like bullshits that he talks." But in reality, actually, at that point, he was actually saying the truth, right? It wasn't overinflated. China right now has 20% unemployment rate, and China is not really doing good. That's why they had to cave in and do something about it, because it was gonna send their country into an even bigger turmoil, right? So
So in a way, I would say that Poppy Trump's plan worked.
in a way it did work, but if China was like this, like if China was like, doing the little um uh kamikaze thing and saying, whatever, they could literally crash US economy, right? Like if you lasted for another couple of months, maybe 6 months to a year, would have been in
definitely
deep
go
shit.
through it for at least half a decade.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of camera equipment jump in price, like the last 2 weeks. A lot of camera equipment, like a lot of the MSRPs just changed by like $500 to $600, $700.
Yeah, so because the MSRP already includes the tariff that they're getting charged by importing it,
Yeah,
right?
so they had to
So
increase it.
that's the biggest thing. When you ask people, they don't really understand how tariffs work, right? The bottom line is it gets passed down to the client, to the customer, right?
The consumer.
Yeah. But that's
Consumer
not
ends
the
up paying for it.
yeah, that's not the biggest part. What I'm saying is the actual war between the countries of tariffs going back and forth, that could have crashed the United States economy, because you have to understand how this works. Our balance sheet depends on two things, on imports and exports, right? Our imports overshadow our exports,
By a
meaning
lot.
we import, yes.
We import way more than we export.
And the only thing that keeps us afloat is our international markets, which means a lot more money is coming into the United States, being invested in the United States market. And that actually offsets our balance sheet to a positive, right? So what was happening, two things were happening. The money stopped coming in because the market started crashing, right? And also our GDP, which is the gross domestic product, went down to negative 2.2%. Why? Because a lot of these big companies, what they did, they went in and they bought, knowing that the tariffs are going to kick in, they bought like 6, 7, 8 months worth of supply right away. So our GDP actually went down and it overshadowed the financial markets. Makes
We
sense?
spend that much
Because we spend a lot. Yeah. So, but it's projected that the GDP for the next couple of months is going to start going up because they've already bought a bunch of shit, right? But also we were not going to export that much. But this pause on tariffs actually, what it did, yes, we did go down, but it's going to start going back up again, most likely.
So do you think that with all of these MSRPs changing in 2 weeks, do you think they're going to like be moving around again? No, they're going to stay just
Once
16?
price of milk goes up and people are used to paying that price of milk stays that. Now, it depends on goods. This usually happens with necessities, right? Where you
we saw that in COVID. I mean, in COVID, a lot of price of goods, and not just normal stuff like food and gas, technology and just your normal everyday stuff, from your normal everyday stuff to, business or supplies or whatever it is, went up and it went back down at a certain point.
Some things will go back down in price, but the necessary goods that we're importing, they will not. They will stay at that price. So the ones that people are gonna buy, and if they didn't see too much of a drop in price in consumption, they're gonna keep those prices. But the ones that they saw a lot of drop, they're gonna want to be competitive and they're gonna drop their prices a little bit. But it's never going to go back down to the original price point, right? It's still gonna be higher. So essentially, what's gonna happen? Companies gonna still make more profit because they're not gonna fully drop it down. And you have to also understand, just like in a cell phone companies, like you have three companies, right? You have T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T. They're even though they're like we're competitors, they're really not. It's what's called a cartel, right? Like they basically come together and say, okay, well, this is what we're gonna charge for per month, and they kind of come to an agreement. So they're not really like fucking with each other's business. You know what I mean?
It was like that
In the beginning.
until you started having the smaller companies that basically just contract out their service.
Until you started having a little bit of a bigger companies buying up the smaller companies, like in case of T-Mobile buying Metro PCS.
No. What I'm trying to say is companies like, for example, Spectrum starting their own service for phones. You know, they have a whole Spectrum store you can go to.
They do, but they cannot compete.
Then you have like the Google service. You have Mint Mobile. You have a lot of people use them, bro. A lot of people use them, especially younger people, because it's cheaper.
Is it though?
Yeah, bro. I'm surprised. I actually was very surprised how many people have been transferring over
I know
to the smaller service. And because the thing is like I said, is these smaller services, they just contract out their service from the big guys. Like fucking Mint don't have no towers.
Which one?
Mint Mobile, they don't got no fucking towers.
Does it belong to anyone? Because I know Boost belongs to Verizon. Verizon bought Boost.
Yeah, Boost is like Metro's version of T-Mobile. Yeah, like the cheap sector kind of thing.
Yes.
Because Metro is still a thing. Metro by T-Mobile is still a thing. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
But no, ones like Mint Mobile and Spectrum, they're their own companies in a sense, but they're using like Verizon.
Yes,
towers.
they have to contract out the towers.
Exactly.
Because the way it works, each company bids on the actual megahertz on a tower, right? So there'll be a bid once a year or once a couple of years, and they say, okay, well, we're gonna open up this spectrum, and then you're gonna bid on this, and whoever wins get that spectrum to run their communication through, right? And that's why a lot of times you'll see the phones, if you go on the phones, they'll say, okay, well, it works on this megahertz, this megahertz, this megahertz, because phone companies are making the phone for several different companies, so they can all buy them together, right? But each cell phone company has their own dedicated megahertz that it can operate on, and that's where the towers come in, right? So but you're right, they do contract out bigger companies for the airtime on that specific megahertz.
Yeah, so
and then when they
cost cheaper service and people enjoy cheap.
Yeah, but the minute Mint gets big enough, one of those three is gonna come in and buy them out. That's the game, right? Like nowadays, you don't really make money by opening your own business. You make money by buying companies. That's by buying businesses. That's how you usually make money. When we're talking about it, that higher echelon, right? For example, let's say if you're starting a roofing company, you probably can start a roofing company and make a pretty decent living, $3, $4, $5 million a year, no problem. But when you're talking about making 50, 60, $100 million, you got to start have to buying up other roofing companies to get to that point.
Even then, I mean, the easier route is going and buying a roofing company from the beginning.
Yes, because
you're just buying a clientele book.
Yes.
And roofing is something you do once and that's it.
You're buying the market share.
Yeah, you're not necessarily, you're buying a name that people in the area may already recognize, or, that may reference over. Word of mouth is one of the biggest things with service, with service companies like that. It is a product, but more of a service, really, like, because you're not buying the roof. You're really paying for the install at the end of the day kind of thing, like the whole service of getting it taken off and doing all that shit. It's always like that.
Yeah.
It's always like that.
The thing is, you make money when you sell a company or when you buy a company. That's when you make actual money, right? And that's been the biggest thing. And those are usually VCs, like venture capitals will come in. They'll look at 600 deals a year, but they'll only buy 0 to 2 per year.
Yeah.
And we're talking about billions and billions of dollars within a venture capital, right, to do that. So it's one of those things like, you see, oh, I made this deodorant, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to start making money. But then that's why they all go to Shark Tank and things like that, and somebody ends up buying them. So Shark Tank becomes the VC for the company, right? So
this is, since we're still on topic of Trump as well, he also reduced or signed an executive order to bring the price of American and taxpayers pay for prescription drugs in line with those paid by similar nations.
Yes, that's what he did.
Huge.
That is huge, because what the drug companies will do, they'll charge you more knowing that you can afford more versus somebody in Africa for the same exact medicine with a different name. So that's kind of big, which is I would like to see like things like insulin and things like that, if they're going to go down in price.
That was on Joe Rogan's pod. That was like, yeah, we sell the product for this much, but if you don't have the money, we'll just give it to you.
Yes.
It's like, what?
Yes.
Yeah. That's how it works. Like, what?
Yes.
It doesn't make sense to that normal person. It doesn't
No,
make sense.
I think in our country we need to fix a couple of things. Number one is the healthcare, right? We need to fix the healthcare. We need to make it a little more affordable. The other day we're sitting down around the table and we were talking about this, right? Healthcare needs to become a little bit more affordable. How to do that is very difficult to say because right now it's all basically paid by either insurance or hospitals basically eat up the cost if you cannot pay it, right? So healthcare definitely needs to be fixed. We need to probably maybe stop bringing in H1 visa people in from, let's say, from India and stuff like that that doing all the tech jobs. You know what I mean? Maybe we need to do homegrown people because people come in from India, you get pay them less.
That's started to stop from what I've heard. You know,
Yes.
I have some friends that work in that like customer service tech industry, and they've told me how yes, that was a big thing when it first started. You know, being able to have like customer service on your phone, that was the biggest thing because it's just so cheap to contract them out to India, like literally because they want to run 24/7 and all that stuff. It's just easier for them to say, okay, we're gonna pay the Indians like on average $2 an hour versus having to pay a guy here, you know, whatever amount. And they've stopped doing that. They've started going towards specifically getting other nations or just doing it homegrown because people
Philippines is big on that.
because people started to hate that experience of going to call an American company and
Not understand what's
not
going on.
understanding what the person's saying and you know dealing with that communication barrier. So companies recognizing that you know customers don't like that shit, they have to sometimes change their ways.
But I don't know if this is a coincidence or like, you know, causation is not necessarily correlation. Have you gotten any scam calls lately?
Yeah,
You have gotten
yeah,
some?
we've had. Oh, that's actually a good story to tell. So we had Alex call the office, and he made a bad decision, bro. He made a bad decision that day. So Alex called one of the people at the, I think it was Emily, right? One of the guys.
Who's Alex?
Steven.
It was Steven. Alex is an Indian dude that called the wrong fucking people.
Ah, okay.
So basically, he called one of our coworkers, Steven, and Steve just fucking put him on a fool, like the whole thing, just ran him through without actually doing anything, or like he said that he was like, no, I don't think he was sharing his screen with him or anything like that, but he was telling him like, yeah, I received the email, and the guy would tell him to do what to do with the email, and he would do the complete opposite or whatever, or wouldn't even do anything. Because like at one point the guy's like, what browser are you using? And he's like, Safari. He's like, oh, you think you should be using Chrome? He's like, okay, I'll go ahead and download Chrome then, and just put his phone to the side and kept working for a little bit. And then 10 minutes later, I got the phone. It's like, all right, now I have Chrome downloaded, and just kept running the guy through the shit. And then after a while, the guy realizes, you know, of course, that Steve's just fucking with him, right? So he hangs up and he tells him to go fuck himself or some shit like that, and then hangs up. You know, these guys are always rude.
Yeah.
Anyways, because of that, Steve got a bunch of the people in the office to start calling Alex, right? So they would call the number back. The office would pick up, you know, oh, can I speak with Alex? He was the one that was helping me, this and that. And then people would try and be like, oh, there's no Alex here. He's like, well, I was just talking with Alex about this, this, and this. He's like, oh, okay, well, I think I know what you're talking about. He's busy right now. He's like, okay, well, I'll wait, you know? And then wasting this guy's time, bro, and just, I think they called him like over 5 or 6 times. And at one point, the guy's like, they're like basically asked him like, "Are you scamming people?" He goes, "Yes, we are scamming people." And he goes, "Yes, we are calling Americans because you are stupid and we you're the easiest to scam or some shit like that." That's what Alex ended up telling them. And yeah, they just kept fucking with Alex all day.
So the reason I said that because this meme's been running around on the internet, how you're not getting any scam calls anymore, is because India and Pakistan are basically at war. And the thing kind of started, this guy like in his mid 30s 40s was ziplining and just filming his experience, and he ended up filming like actual people with like machine guns mowing everybody down as he was going over the top of them.
Okay.
And the war basically started with India and Pakistan, and this is bad because both of those nations have nuclear weapons. Like this war somehow needs to come to an end. If not, that's World War III. And we know we've been working on India to kind of push them away from China and Russia. But you have to remember the name BRICS, the reason it's BRICS because BRI, I stands for India. So India is actually on the side of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So they were the ones that came together to create the direct competitor to World Bank.
Right, trying to make the
Correct.
yen, right? The new
No,
currency.
to end the dollar dominance of a dollar.
Yeah, they wanted to make the yen, right?
Yen.
What it was.
They wanted to make the yen.
Where did
So
Brazil come in through that? Like that as someone who doesn't know too much about all this, when you hear that country being included with these other countries, it sounds kind of odd, no?
well, no, Brazil has huge. Remember, Brazil has huge. The
Brazil's
rainforest.
population is huge too.
Brazil's population is huge. They have the rainforest. They have a big infrastructure. A lot of materials that can be dug out from the ground. So they do have a very big economy that could possibly.
But
flourish.
what I'm trying to say, not saying, oh, they don't have like, not saying they're not a big dog like they are and can't carry that weight class. What I'm trying to say is the association of the countries like that.
Well, it was all just because you have to understand in all of these countries are pretty corrupt when it comes to it, right? And it's very easy to go to talk to the right politician, pay him the right amount of money, because most companies have a budget. When you go to a different country, they have a budget of bribing the country to get their manufacturing in there and things like that. So you're trying to get something done, you get the right politician, you bribe them, they pass a vote, now they're part of BRICS. So that's how it
So
kind of.
essentially, it's like a business.
It's business. It's a business, yeah. Because most of these countries understand that they have to align themselves with top three, right? Which is Russia, China, and United States. They have to align themselves with one of those guys because those are the three countries that basically rule the world, right? We're the police. We kind of regulate everyone, but if we're not the police, there would be either Russia or China, right? So they have to kind of align themselves with one of these countries, and the choice was okay. Well, they paid me enough money. I got my money, so I don't give a shit because I'm gonna put my money offshore. It doesn't matter what happens to my country. I got my money, so they kind of. United States didn't pay me enough money.
Do you think there's some countries that are playing the game of, okay, I think this person's gonna be the one to make me the most money, even though they're probably being the one to lose?
Yeah. Yeah, of course they're playing that game. It's because it's all about the individually. If I'm making, I don't even know why I have these headphones on. Individually, who's gonna make money? Yeah, it's hot, bro. Individually, like as an individual, who's gonna make the most money, right? So, what is Alex saying? I didn't read it through. But the problem is the nuclear weapons that these two countries have, right? Like which is pretty big. Like we don't want this war to continuously happen, So, what is it? Trump threatened tariffs. China bucked up and said we'll do the same.
The latest comment is the language. That language in that executive order doesn't force any change or enforcement of the prices they charge. So unless Congress passes something, it's a nothing burger PR stunt.
Correct. Yeah, Congress has to pass it, right? But at the end of the day, we did increase the tariffs on a country. Whether then he came back and put it down, maybe it was just show of force, like I can do this and I don't give a shit. Like you can see where your country is going to be at. Again, as I said, China is not in a very good economic position right now. And they both both sides understand that, right? Now, if you think behind the closed doors there was not an agreement that was happening that Trump put in place, that's silly too, right? He didn't just drop the tariffs. They probably got something in return that they wanted to get, and which most likely happened. Or maybe not fully 100% they got what they wanted, or it was more of like, I'm going to give you this and knowing that I'm only going to get this type of deal. Like it was a negotiation behind the closed door, and we probably won't find out that until it's all said and done. But they did get something back. He didn't just increase the tariffs and then dropped it back to normal where it was before, right? Like there's something going on behind the back doors that we don't really know about.
New plane from the Arab Emirates.
He did, and yeah, they called him out on it. But
I always see a lot of this stuff as being a huge smokescreen.
It is, a lot of it is,
because we always accentuate one problem at a lot of times when there's 400 problems. You know what I mean? And a lot of times these politicians come in and say, I'm going to fix 350. But then when they come in, they accentuate one and make everyone just think about one, and they forget about the other 349.
And I think that partially the reason why everybody voted Trump. Yeah, and I think partially why everybody voted Trump was because of that, because people are tired of electing politicians that talk the talk, but then when they come to the office, they don't walk the walk, and they're like just they don't care about people. Like, I think that this is the biggest thing that's plaguing the Democratic Party right now.
Well, I think what's happening there is Trump has found a way to make the American people think that, you know, the other presidents weren't attempting to fix some of the 400
no,
problems.
Trump was.
So I think what's happening here is, before you had the presidents come in and there's 400 problems, right? And throughout their term, they slowly chip. Boom, this, that. They whatever they have the opportunity and whatever they think is the most important, whatever's going on, right? This man is saying, I'm just gonna blow up one. I'm just gonna grab one problem, blow it the fuck up, make everyone forget about everything else.
No, you have to understand. Trump was actually lucky that he was going against Biden, who was barely alive, and then Kamala, who's not very marketable. And even Democrats are recognizing this right now and being very, very vocal about it, right? That was his trump card, right? No pun intended. So he was lucky. If it was a different candidate, a better candidate, he wouldn't stand a chance to win.
I think they just had to be younger.
Correct. And then if you look at the 2028 candidates for Democrats, they're not looking any better either. So it stands that Republicans might end up winning the election once more, because the Democrats are not putting good candidates in, and they're not willing to come to the table and have a conversation. For example, at one point, Republicans were like, you know what? They were saying, okay, you know, we've had this, you know, the abortion game. We're not going to fucking win this game. I understand this is not going anywhere, right? Like, we're okay to say 3 months. And after 3 months, you cannot. But Democrats were like, no, we're not doing that. So they wouldn't come to the table. And this progress doesn't happen overnight. You have to take step by step. First, you push it to 3 months. Then you push it to 4, to 5, to 6. Slowly. You can't just go in there and say either this or nothing, right? Like, then what happens, where the federal ban goes away.
The only issue with that is that it's gone back and forth now, and that's the issue. That's the biggest issue.
Because nobody wants to sit down at the table and have a conversation. And I'm telling you, Republicans were willing to come into the table and say, okay, 3 months. 3 months. But Democrats didn't want to take that.
It's a little annoying when you've already, like, fought for it, then had it taken away, and then they're like, okay, we're going to start giving you little by little. You get what I'm saying?
No. Before they took it away, they were talking about 3 months. And then they came back and said no. They said, okay, no, then we're going to fucking pass this law.
What was the federal law when Roe v. Wade? Like, what was the time?
It depended on a state. Some of the states were up to 9 months, right?
Before Roe v. Wade got taken away.
Oh, before Roe v. Wade. Well, that's what I'm saying. Some of the states were up to 9 months. But it wasn't just like, oh, I don't care about it anymore. I don't want it. I went through this 9 months and then just abort the baby, right? Like, it wasn't that. It was more like, you know, there were like health issues or things like that needed to be done, right? That was happening.
Before Roe v. Wade got taken away, is what I'm trying to say. While Roe v. Wade was active, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was. So things have to go step by step. Like, I don't care how you feel about stuff. There's still 50% of the population that thinks otherwise. In order for you to have progress, you have to slowly push that barrier, right? The pendulum usually doesn't swing back, but on this one it did, right? Yeah.
So what, it just makes it a right, and then they allowed the states to kind of figure out the logistics?
Correct. So some states would be up to 9 months because so you have to understand, like, the majority of the abortions happen within the first trimester, which is the first 3 months, right? Mm-hmm. Anything after that is usually some sort of a complication that needs to be taken care of, right? And those are very, very small percentages. We're talking about like 1%.
Well, you'd have to check that.
It's not that much, right? Like, those 9 months are not that much, because no woman really goes through 9 months and then decides, oh, I don't want it anymore. You know what I'm saying? It just makes no fucking sense. Like, logically, it makes no sense, right? But because they didn't want to sit down at the table and have a conversation, they're like, well, F this. We're going to see what people are going to say, or we're going to go to the courts and then prove this to be illegal. And then just they did that, right? So it's a dance that everybody has to play, but nobody wants to do that, right?
Let's lighten up the mood a little bit. So we've already talked a little bit about this before the pod, but the Utah situation. So here's the thing. One thing that Alex keeps pushing for, it's a right for women. I don't care how you feel about it and what you think about it. Bottom line is this: if 50% of your population votes one way, then it's that.
whether you want it or not, because you live within a society and you deal with the society's rules. So if majority of them vote one way, and that's that, because in society you have men and women, so they both fucking vote, and usually women vote at larger numbers than men do. But in this case, there were a lot more men voting, and that was the end, right? Like that was the nail in a coffin. So
All right, let's move away from this.
yeah.
So,
So whether how you feel about this doesn't matter.
Jay, if you're gonna let him say, let's move away for this, and then you say okay,
Yeah,
don't go back on it.
true.
soda epidemic in Utah.
Yeah, soda epidemic in
Shit
Utah.
ton of Mormons.
Yeah, I don't understand this shit. I mean, I guess it's the Mormon population. So Mormons can't drink hot tea or hot coffee. I guess is what we learned, that's part of the Book of Wisdom or some shit like that that they have. So in Utah, right?
Yeah.
Utah, they got soda places. Like I've never seen this before. Just a restaurant dedicated to soda. And this guy went around. Miguel was showing me this video beforehand, and some people consume over 100 ounces of soda a day. 100 ounces. And just to give you guys an idea, I mean, a can of Coke is 12 ounces, so you'd have to have 10 fucking.
So I've been to Salt
9
Lake.
cans, and
I've been
it's
to
insane.
I've been to Salt Lake City. You think people were looking at me weird because I wasn't walking around with like a big gulp in my hand?
I mean, from what it looked like, like the guy was saying, they asked the dude at the gas station, "Oh, how many people are like filling up big gulps or 44 ounces?" And he goes, "Everyone." And
So they looked at me like I'm an alien when I walk in a gas station and I just bought a water.
I mean, probably not. They'd probably look at you like an alien if you were drinking hot coffee or hot tea.
Bro, I'm not even gonna hold you. Some of these drinks like are better than Starbucks.
Well,
And
I'm
they
sure
cost
they gotta
less.
make some crazy shit. Water or damn, the fact that you can do it with sparkling water would kind of like that's fire to me. Frozen strawberry, strawberry puree, sugar-free vanilla, sugar-free strawberry, and coconut cream. That sounds kind of good.
I just like how they put the strawberry puree in and then they do all that sugar-free shit on top of it. Because, like, bruh, you just put in like 40 spoons of fucking sugar with that puree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but some of the names are pretty funny. Pool Boy, your mom, your
Monster-in-law.
second ex-wife. Like, there's some crazy
K
names.
Breezy.
Yeah.
Slime Ricky.
Slime Ricky. What's a slime Ricky?
Son of a peach.
Grape, fresh lime, in your choice of energy.
Bro, do you guys like grape soda or any kind of grape flavored drink?
Yes.
You do? I can't stand it.
Have you ever had like the Welch's grape juice?
yes,
Like the
I
very
can't
pure, like
stand
you
it.
can tell that shit is like straight concentrate almost. Have
I
you
can't
had that?
stand it. Bro.
Really?
I cannot stand it.
Grape soda. Grape soda is not my first choice, nor is it my second, third, fourth, or fifth. But will I drink grape soda? Yes. Do I like grape juice? Yes. Grape flavored things? Yeah.
What's like if you were talking juice or soda, what flavor is like it?
Mango or passion fruit.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
You can't beat those, I think.
What if it's a mix? Do you
Mango
like?
Yeah, those two
You're not-
together.
Mango gives me acid reflux. So
Mango gives you acid reflux?
yeah, dude.
Are you from the Caribbean, bro?
Yeah. I mean,
No, mango
Come
gives
on.
him. It probably gives him the acid reflux because of all the chemicals that's inside. Because I used to have that with orange juice. Unless I was, remember back in the day in Florida, you could go and you could get fresh squeezed orange juice that would only last like 2 fucking days in a fridge. Otherwise, it would go sour.
Sam's Club still has that.
Yeah. So
That shit's fire.
yeah. So if you don't drink it, it goes sour.
Yeah.
That juice does not give me heartburn. But if I buy any other Tropicana or any other shit, immediate heartburn.
I hate the way those things taste, bro. Like normal orange juice, like the Tropicana and, you know, all the different kind of carton stuff that you can buy at the store. Bro, it's like it's good for the first 3 days, and then after that, I mean, it's just sour as fuck. Like
Which one?
normal orange juice,
Oh, yeah.
even normal orange juice that you buy from the grocery store, the flavor that you when you first get it to 2 weeks later, even though
Did
it
you
lasts for
shake it?
fucking a month and a half. Yes, nigga, I shook it. God damn. It has like it starts to taste sour.
Mhm.
You know, it's so bad. Like every time I see orange juice in my fridge, if it's less than half left, I already know it's not gonna taste the same like it did when it was like fresh.
You can always add more sugar.
No, it's
No,
not
it's not
that.
the sugar.
It's
I
not
don't
the
think
sugar.
it's the sugar. I think it's just the preservatives and then being there, and it's like the freshness. It's just kind of gone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think best fruit for me is mango because I love enjoying it in smoothies and drinks and everything.
Bro.
And I like eating it straight up. Which passion fruit is a little more annoying to like eat straight up.
I've had this epitome, right? When
Epitome.
yeah, when we were in fucking Colombia last trip we went to, right? We got this crib, big pool and everything, whatever. But prior to getting there, we went to the market and we shopped for vegetables, fruits, meat, and things like that. Bro, when we brought the vegetables and fruits back, the actual vegetables and fruits had a flavor in them. Like I was eating a mango and it was like a mango. Over here, bro, you get the mango and it's kind of like 50-50. You're either going to get a literally cardboard flavor or you're going to get this mango that's not sweet but it's already been sitting so long it's got the fibers in and it gets everywhere in your teeth. But there's no in between. Over there, the mango was juicy and
that has
good
to do
flavor.
with the type of mango, one, and then of course the commercialization we have of here,
Yeah.
fruit. You know, so over here it's not like, for example, when you go to Dominican Republic, if it's not mango season, you go, hey, are there any mangoes? They're gonna go, no.
No, yeah.
Versus here, it's like, fuck seasons and fuck all that. We're just gonna make it all year round. We're gonna find a way for them bitches to grow even when they're not supposed to, you know. And, you know, when they're not in season, they're going to taste like ass, and we're still going to sell them.
But even in season mangoes, they taste like ass.
I've
yet
had
to find them
pretty
in
good
season that are
mangoes
good.
here. I've had
Yeah.
some pretty good
Bro,
mangoes here.
I
Now,
always
of
have
course,
trouble with that.
every time we go to DR and it's mango season, like, there's no comparison, right? Like, every mango you eat is just fucking fire. Versus here, it's a gamble, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I don't know. I think with fruits, it's like that. It has to do with that. The commercialization of fruits here, you know. I think in Florida, we have it the best, too. You know, because we just have it hot all year round. We can grow the majority of the tropical good fruits here, the majority of the year.
Our land is shit for that. It's all sand.
Still, though,
you know?
like, for example, we got strawberries and oranges and all that shit here.
Well, we did have oranges until that Chinese moth killed it all.
We still have orchards
Groves.
here. Yeah. But mostly I think strawberries.
You know when you pass through neighborhoods and you see some of the fences like brownish orange color because of the water?
Yeah.
You know why it's like that, right?
That has to do with what's in the water in their system, in their area.
So back in the day, there used to be orange groves, and they sprayed copper because copper was like the preservative to keep the bugs and everything away.
Oh,
so all
great.
that copper leached into the fucking ground, and now all that mixed with water. So that's actual copper that you're seeing.
Really?
Yeah.
I know, like, that happens a lot to the white fences.
Yeah. You see that.
The white vinyl.
You see it right away.
You know.
Yeah,
It
it's
washes
copper.
off, though.
It washes off. Yeah, it washes off. But they're literally
A lot of
copper
people,
chemicals.
when I was doing fencing, people used to tell me, like, oh, I don't like the white because it just gets so dirty so fast. And, you know, like, it stains and this and that. I'm like, no, don't. You get Clorox cleanup and hit that
real
bitch with
quick.
there.
Well, but
and
nobody
everything
wants
was-
to do that, right? Like
Right,
nobody.
fucking
They don't
lazy-ass
fucking
people, man.
They don't clean their houses, let alone cleaning the damn fence.
Like, anyone buying wood fence after, like, the last 10 years is just wasting their money.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
It goes bad in, like, 2 years, bro.
No. If you get
It's
the
dog
decent,
shit. It's dog shit, bro. The wood, like, you get from Home Depot for wood panel fencing, is horrible. And even the one, like, I used to work for a company that we used to have to build it. That shit was
one by one.
Hell yeah, every plank by every plank, bro. Nailed down, one by one. And even that shit was horrible, bro. Just the wood quality, all the planks were bent. Some of them were fucking half broken already. And they just, you know, like, for example, I had the fence at my house here. It was wood before, right? And during one of the hurricanes, we had two or three panels go down in the back. And we ended up having to replace them because the panels, when they fell, they were so bad we couldn't put them back up. And it was like 2 years in between that and me getting the new fence completely, the white vinyl. Bro, that shit was rotting faster than some of the fence that was from back in the original house.
Yeah, because the wood used to be more denser back in the day.
It used to be bigger. They used to actually, you got a 2x4. It was a fucking 2x4, not one by 3/4 and 2 3/8. No, it wasn't that. And the wood quality was a lot better. You know, so they now the wood that they're using, bro, that's like it's not synthetic grown wood, but it's
fast growing wood. It doesn't get the rings in.
Wood. It doesn't. It's not as dense. You know, it's not as strong and resistant.
That's why termites eat that shit much faster because it's much easier for them to get in between.
Softer.
It's softer.
It's softer, bro. There used to be fences. I used to go and remove some fences that were probably 20 years old, bro, and that shit used to have to get the big sledgehammer to knock them bitches down. That's how, like, good the wood was back then.
Yeah,
and that was so cheap.
So what else you got on there on the topic, Mickey?
We already talked about Trump's plane.
Soda epidemic.
Soda epidemic. That's all I had on the title.
Yeah, so But I did go to, like, if you ever get a chance to go to Utah, I think it's really cool to go to Utah because they
I
do.
heard there ain't shit to do there, bro.
No, there's stuff to do there. I mean, when you say
Now
ain't
I
shit,
want to
like,
go for the fucking soda, and the one that I just saw, dude. This
No,
thing
so-
looks amazing.
so you
My
can't-
jam, Dr. Pepper, raspberry puree, coconut, extra dirty. I don't know what the fuck extra dirty means, but I want it dirty, bro.
Dirty.
Yeah.
Is that you can get it with alcohol?
I don't know. I don't know what extra dirty means.
no, I think you just get to pick the flavor that you want. I don't think there's alcohol in it.
Half and half cream.
Oh, that just has to have to do with the amount of cream
Yeah.
they're putting in.
But what I was saying in Utah, if you like hiking and you like to be in the nature, bro, Utah is good because Salt Lake itself is a big national preserve and park. You can go there and bisons roam for like freely there. Like you can be driving with a car through the park and it could be just like a herd of bisons just chilling on the road and you have to wait until they move. Antelopes, you can see all kinds of bunch of shit there. If you're big into nature, and then also they have a ski resort there. You can do that. What is this? Mountain Dew, pineapple, raspberry, mango, vanilla,
Extra
dirty.
Bro.
Give me 44 ounces.
You know
of
what's
that.
funny? I bet these companies have purposely not made enough locations so where they don't have to do the calorie thing. You know how that's how that works, right? Basically, if the restaurants have a certain amount of locations, that's when they're required to start having like calorie count and all that stuff. For example, Fresh Kitchen, right?
Yeah.
They don't advertise their calories because they're not forced to, right? So you don't know how many calories is in a bowl or whatever it is. I can probably guarantee. Let's see, Mickey. Can you get like a calorie chart from So Delicious, like you would with McDonald's, right? You can go online and look at every single piece of everything in McDonald's and see how many calories it is.
Nutritional info. No, not really.
Yeah, see, they're just telling you what's in, like, everything contains this, and this.
And that could be that. It could be also that it's not very popular in other states, right? Like, because Utah makes sense, right? Because they're drinking a lot of soda. Like, who drinks that much soda here? You know, it's not a thing for soda to be it. Like, it would be cool for the first 3 months, and then it'll die down.
What would you say is worse for you? 2 energy drinks a day or 2 sodas a day?
What's worse for you? I think they're equally just as bad. I don't think there's
so. I think the energy drinks are probably way worse. The amount of caffeine
that you're consuming. That will be 400 milligrams of caffeine.
in some cases 500, because some of these fucking drinks now have 250, 300.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe for your heart, but I don't. So okay. So
most sodas have
one is
caffeine,
gonna
too.
give you a heart attack right away. The other one is gonna give you delayed heart attack. So it's like you're getting a heart attack no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shit. The soda's the long game.
Yeah. Soda is the long game.
Because, I mean, I'm sure Red
I
Bull
think
has
the problem
close
is
to
not
amount
the
of
sugar. The problem is the corn syrup that we put in all our fucking drinks. The corn syrup.
I think the
itself
sugar is a big issue. Because, bro, you got like 27 grams of sugar in some of these
Well,
soda.
the 27 grams of sugar is actually the. For us to understand it, they put sugar, but it's actually corn syrup that they put in that contains 27 grams of sugar. The corn syrup itself is the high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, right. It's the
Is
biggest fucking
really
issue.
really fucking bad for you. And it's cheaper to produce. That's why they.
God damn, it's 38 grams in a fucking...
Yeah, I wanted to fact check that because I was pretty sure it was more.
Yeah, how many teaspoons is that?
Bro, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That's what I'm saying. 39 grams. Like, what is the equivalent of 30 grams?
The recommended dose of sugars is 50 a day. This is 39. That means you're already consuming more than 3/4
Yeah.
just for having.
It
Go-
says it's 10 teaspoons, Jay. This is equivalent to
teaspoons.
approximately
Okay,
10
go
teaspoons.
to images so we can see actually what 10 teaspoons of sugar looks like.
I mean, I think we all know what a teaspoon is. That shit's crazy. Imagine trying to just eat 10 teaspoons of sugar.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, go ahead, click on that now. No, the one with the bottles.
2 to the right.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking sugar. When we're back in actually it's Armenia, not Lithuania. In Armenia, sugar came in this format, in these little cubes, right?
Yeah.
And then you would put one, maybe half a cube inside your tea when you would drink it.
Mm-hmm.
And the can of Coke has how many in there? And that was basically about the amount of tea you
1,
would
2,
drink.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 of those, bro.
Yeah, 10 teaspoons. I guess one of those is like a teaspoon.
It's insane, and that's the little can of Coke, right? So the big can of
Kind of
Coke,
Coke.
the big can of Coke, and some people will consume that big can of Coke just on their own, right?
Damn, I had a liter Fanta in the last within the last 2 days, because they didn't have the fucking. I
Yeah.
wanted the Mexican one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And they didn't have the smaller bottles. All I had was a liter. I didn't drink it all yesterday, but like between
Well, look,
today
look
and
at
yesterday,
Red Bull, 51 grams of sugar, bro. That ain't no different either.
that's also a 12 ouncer.
You know what's funny? Look at Naked. Naked's supposed to be one of those healthy drinks, right?
Oh, no,
I
yeah.
get the low sugar one.
Yeah, Miguel was telling me about that, bro. I looked in it and I was like, God damn, yeah, look at that, Miguel. He actually told me about. We were at Publix together the other day, and he goes, "You know how much sugar is in that shit?" Or he told me something about it, and that's why I looked.
Well, that's why you guys make fun of me because when I'm drinking diet drinks, you make fun of me. That's the exact reason when I'm drinking the diet. Now, I'm not saying that diet drinks are any better. That aspartame probably, got the little long game cancer working too. You know what I mean? But click on that other one which has the
You know what that
baggie.
was crazy? Today I was watching Joe.
Look at this shit.
I was watching Joe Rogan. He did a podcast recently with Joey Diaz again. And it was funny. I saw the comments and it was so accurate. They were saying like Joey was getting so like annoyed in the last like 30 minutes because Joe Rogan just kept talking about like a bunch of random shit, and at one point Joey just goes, "Joe, what do I give a fuck about any of that? That's what's wrong with people nowadays. They care too much about other people's shit, this and that." But
Tapuria and him, they said basically the same thing. I don't know if one of them heard the other one talk about it. Like they were talking about like the flat Earth or knowing this or knowing that. It's like,
oh
how
yeah,
the
he's
fuck
talking
is this
about
gonna...
Bryce Mitchell. He said,
Yeah.
he says, he goes, "What if? And so what if it's fucking flat?
Yeah,
what
well,
the fuck are you gonna do now?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, how does that change my life? You know,
Yeah.
and Tapuria was saying, how does that change my life? It doesn't, he goes.
What is this?
What is this?
Jeez, why do you guys always react to this so quick to the things I'm trying to pull up? Okay, give me a second, guys.
Okay,
Let me explain. I know it's a bit weird, but this is a funny T-shirt company that I was looking at, and I almost spent $80 earlier.
$80.
Yeah, because I was gonna get 4 of them.
I've seen this as
I
like
hope
a
you
trend
did.
now.
These shits are funny.
Super
dude.
bad, like unwearable T-shirts. People are always making them out of like Star Wars stuff.
I wanna
Wizard
find
of
the one that I was looking for. Hold on.
But-
And I wanted to get this shirt for Cameron.
Cameron. Masturbator.
Almost for you.
Are you at least getting
Jesus
them in
died
pink?
for your sins.
Give us this day or daily shred.
Are you getting them in pink at least?
At least one of them. Morbidly obese.
So you want to hear something crazy? So David Buss is one of the most prominent evolutionary psychologists in the world, right? Like he's got his own course, tenured professor in one of the best universities in the United States. He has his book, the textbook that he wrote, right? And in the textbook, it talks about people that bully and people that get bullied, right? And then also talks about how that they found a direct correlation between people bullying and getting bullied and how many sexual partners they'll have throughout their life. You want to guess how it works? Any guesses?
Nope. Damn, I can't fucking find
Well,
it.
I mean, if you're just going by like the general stereotype of how like schools work, right? You look at like a normal high school movie or whatever. I mean, the one usually doing the bullying, right? Is usually also the same guy that's the fucking quarterback of the team, fucking all the bitches.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just like the stereotype of how that's worked.
That's-
And the one getting bullied is the nerd getting no bitches.
That's true. That is true. Throughout their life, somebody that bullies will most likely have more sexual partners than the one that doesn't bully when it comes to men. But when it comes to women, it's the opposite.
I was gonna pick one of these bad boys up.
Oh, that would be Adam shit. Well, you send me that link. I'm gonna
Jiu-jitsu.
get that for Adam. I'm definitely getting that for Adam. Cause he always says that. I'm getting that for him.
Stay back, I'm autistic. I know a few friends I
This
could get
one
that for.
right here. This is the one I was gonna.
Professional stroker. That is crazy.
Get
What
I was gonna
golfer
call
is
him-
that?
I was gonna call him. I was like, Yo, if I get you this shirt, will you wear it?
What golfer is that?
I don't know.
Go on a pink on that jiu-jitsu one. Pink color. Yes, and send me the link, will you please?
I'll give you the name of the
Okay.
thing later after.
All right, go down the. Why don't you just search it? Yeah, that one. Click and hit pink. Yeah, I'm getting this for him.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, this will be good. He's been doing jiu-jitsu for 32 years now or something like that, for quite some time. So that summer of 06, I wish it was like 30 years back, but it's not. But we deal with what we got, right? So
All right. Well, we're in an hour.
Yeah, we can wrap it up for today. Alrighty, guys, thank you for joining us. Shout out to our official sponsors, UFC Gym Largo and Vitality Wellness Centers. Go check those things out, guys. Links in the description. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
peace.
Peace.